I had to get some coffee. I have a conditioner in my hair, and so it's kind of gross looking. I didn't realize that. But it's good for my hair. Looks like I haven't slept, and I have. Hey, Sherilyn. So I don't know how long this one's going to be, but I said I would do a Sunday one, and so here I am. Um, I'm just figuring that guys, give me a minute. Sorry, I had to check something outside, and then I left my glasses. Hold on. As you can see, I'm kind of distracted today, and I've been working on bags. Um, I was an idiot yesterday because I ended up just stopping in at Joann's in Bellevue, and I spent the majority of my food money for the week, which was only about $75. But I ended up getting some stuff at Sam's Club, or not Sam's Club, but Joann's for these bags. And so it'll be interesting. Yeah, it's my Peanuts mug. For some reason, I love the Peanuts. Always have. I know there's lots of bad shit out there about Charles Schultz being a racist and all of that, but sometimes I feel if you nitpick everything, you can, you won't want to appreciate anything. No, I didn't even see who that was, Sherilyn. So, I don't know. The picture that I have on the the picture that I have in the profile picture, that is the hole that's on the sun, the coronal hole, and it keeps getting larger and larger, and that's why I say I think these idiots think that they have won, set themselves above God. It's the reason why Trump tweeted a picture of himself as the Pope. You know, And I know we're all supposed to be tribal and in camps. But it doesn't mean I like the Democrats just because I don't like Trump. You know? I think that our politicians suck all around. And so, yeah, Joanne's is supposed to be done by this month. But when I went yesterday, I couldn't help it. They had universal needles, 10-pack universal needles. They were like $7.50 for a 10-pack, and I don't know where I'm going to get needles now. And so I bought 3 packages. So there you go. I'm working on a bag for a friend, and who is kind of specific on what she liked. And I ended up finding fabric there, not realizing that it was a 2-yard minimum. You can only get 2 yards, so that alone costs $25. So even though they're going out of business, it's not like the stuff is free, you know. But then I got clasps for the bags, because let's see if I have one here. I found these. So these will be able to make it to where I can make an adjustable strap on the bag. So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. And so I kind of am just, that's why I was late today, because I'm working on bags to try and sell so I can feed myself, because I spent almost all my food money, which was freaking stupid, but it was an investment in myself. I think people will get, will like these bags. I don't have anything to share because I kind of want to show a completed bag, and I started work on the one that I'm making for a friend, and so I didn't complete the one that I was working on, so I have 2 going, and not to mention I had to mow today, and just there was outside shit I had to do. It's never ending, as we all know. The thing about that coronal mass on the sun is that it keeps inundating. Every time it comes around, it's inundating us. Yeah, most notions come from China. If I can sell a bag, I'm just warning, I'm taking donations. And if I can sell a bag, which I'm hoping I can, I'm going to take some more of the money and go back down to Joanne's this month because they're getting ready to close. But the Bellevue one is where they're just dumping all of the stuff. And so there's new inventory every day. And so I want to go down there and see if I can't. So, because I'm afraid, where do you get it? Hobby Lobby doesn't have crap like that. I don't even know if Michael's has a fabric area, and so it's just kind of scary, I did go to the thrift store too. That's the other thing too, is I bought 2 pairs of women's jeans, which I've already cut up. One is white denim, and then the other one is a pink denim. And so I don't know if people will dig pink. Pink is not my favorite color, but I ended up yesterday spending money investing for these bags. I'm gonna have to go to the food pantry probably this week, or else I'm gonna be a hurting unit. So it was stupid. But when you only make a little over $900, and my utilities from my house, the level payment is $375. And oh, that's a good idea. Pink with orange and magenta makes pink less pink. You want to go in now? All right, hold on. My black lab doesn't like to be out in the sun for very long in the afternoon because she gets hot. But that coronal mass that keeps getting bigger keeps inundating us with heat and radiation, and things are already off the charts as far as energy wise goes, as far as how much the sun has hit us already. That's why we keep having all of these geomagnetic storms. And I personally think that we're at the end. I think that they think that they have me. You know, they're really focused on my house. From what I understand, Tara Joyce is still focused on my house. Thomas has said stuff about my house since, you know, I've never had a group of people so worried about what someone else has. And it's not my fault if they don't have a house. I just made good investments after the divorce. That's, you know, but death and taxes, as they say. And I need to raise money for taxes. But that's why I'm making bags. I'm going to start doing the artwork. I had to take my machine in yesterday. That's going to be $109.50 right off the bat. They wrote $109 on there. Just to take it in, it'll cost me $109. And so, poverty sucks. But I'm trying to get to a point where I can start doing artwork and selling bags and artwork. And maybe not living as bad. Sorry, I keep having to check. Yeah, it was expensive for a sewing machine repair. I took it in from my Bernina, and my Bernina is old. It is 87, so it's an old machine. And I think that's the reason why it was a pain in the ass. And so I'm trying to get all this stuff done and get to the point, you know, I've been stressed out since yesterday. It was really stupid of me to spend the money that I did. But going to Joann's and all of the notions, I just don't understand. It's going to be so expensive. And the bags are turning out nice. I do have interviews. I used to go and do interview after interview after interview years ago. I was doing interviews on all kinds of shows, along with Fiona Barnett. But it went nowhere, except the bad guys attacked me worse than what they usually did. And so I slowed down on that. Plus, you don't even know, you know. Okay, I'm kind of out of it because I don't know what that terror attack is. I do have a blog, davidshurter.com. At the very beginning of this page, I have a lot of interviews. And I have a documentary. And so, I just need that sewing machine fixed. It's a never-ending battle, it seems like. Anyway, I'm just I just don't really have anything to talk about. I know that they think that they've won. I don't work with survivors. And if they have a lot of hits and they're everywhere, chances are they're bogus. Chances are they're a honeypot. Do I know of any survivors The survivors that I know that are real SRA survivors aren't doing anything anymore with any of this and don't trust other survivors. And the reason why is because a lot of survivors, they're just a different cut of the same cloth as our abusers. And my experience, having been in the survivor community as much as I have, is that I've never met a group of people who are so desperate to get back what was taken from them as children. And so the bad guys can come along and offer them a kind word and a stuffed animal and a card and can get it. And those survivors will turn and they'll join the bad guys. And it's sad, but it's because they're so desperate to get back what was taken from us as kids, from the very group that took it in the first place. And so I know survivors who have been out there. Right. If they're being promoted by influencers and they're really pushed, they do have a hole in their heart. And they're constantly trying to repair what was taken from us by trying to earn the respect and sometimes the love of our abusers. Because a lot of us, our parents were involved. So it not only was bad guys, but our own parents. And I have watched survivors rally around people and then trash them in the end. And Fiona Barnett was all out there. Felt like she was out on a limb and nobody gave a shit, and that's why she quit. Isaac was out there. They murdered him. Nobody did shit. Lori King had an entourage at the first Ivory Garden trauma conference in Seattle. After they murdered her, nobody cared. Nobody did anything. And so God is the only help for any of this in between. That's why I focus on God solely. I focus on the spiritual solely. Because man is never going to come. Man will never rise up. And never. There will never be any justice on this side if it comes to mankind. Because people are just more than willing to look away. And then you have people who have gone out of their way, have a whole history, like Doug, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, who will go after survivors and attack survivors and go to the SMART conference, Neil Brick SMART conference in Connecticut, and traumatize and attack survivors, and just constantly go after to shut all survivors down. And people are okay that he has his little Satanic Temple after-school daycare program that's popping up all over the nation. So the very dude who pulled out his dick and balls for national media and put it on a tombstone to get attention, he has more credibility, and it's more accepting to let him and his group be around kids than it is to actually listen to survivors. And actually, and what just happened to Virginia Giuffre, Oh yeah, they're talking about her now because it's gossip. They're not. All it is clickbait anymore, And they don't do it. Nothing gets done. Nothing ever gets done. And so, you kind of look at it and think, oh well, it's God. That's the reason why this coronal hole on the sun, it's cooking the fucking planet. Do you know that the Russian space station is getting ready to fall out of fucking space and they're not going to be able to control where it lands? It's just going to fall, because what's happening is that the satellites are getting fried. They're not built for such heat and radiation as the sun is building us. And the CMEs coming from these coronal masses, these coronal holes, are worse than if we just got hit with solar flares, because it's just a constant solar storm of heat and radiation that inundates us. And if you look at it, that's the picture that I have for the profile picture. That's the 8th rotation or the 9th rotation. It's one or the other. It's growing exponentially. Look at it. It's almost the whole side of the sun. And the sun is really big. I know it looks really small in the sky, but it actually is much bigger than Earth is, you know? I don't know. What I can say is that everything that went down with Virginia Giuffre at the end, if there is any question of whether or not they try and shut survivors up, you don't have to look at me, but you can. The last year and a half, all those videos that I've done, they came after me. They've been after me hard. But Virginia Giuffre, what happened? She got hit by a bus. She thought, she was told she was going to die. Her kidneys were in failure. Then when she didn't die, then they charged her with that breaking a protection order thing, and did that. And then right after that, she commits suicide. You know, even though, just like Isaac Cappy, she went on and said, I'm not suicidal, and if something happens to me, I didn't do it to myself. And so if you go to Prairie Rose State Park, God help them if someone lights a fire and someone lights a barbecue and a spark gets off. God help us, because the pine trees are all dying. They're all dying in Prairie Rose because there's no water. It has rained the last few days. The other day, man, it poured. It was nice. But they go after survivors. But something tells me that things are not going well for them, and people are actually looking into them. That's the reason why they'll come in here and say, oh, well, I'm watching your numbers dwindle. It's not the quantity of people who listen to what I'm having to say. It's the quality. It's the actual people who are listening to what I have to say and actually looking into what I have to say. Again, Isaac Cappy. The best thing that I would suggest with Isaac Cappy is to start investigating Isaac Cappy when he was alive, what he was involved with, who he was involved with. That will lead you to a lot of good places. You know, Australia, that Chris dude that's connected to Thomas Schoenberger, you know, he would say that he had nothing to do with Virginia Giuffre, but I bet the group that he associates with and is affiliated with is connected. You know, that's what I believe. And so, and of course they can say that I'm crazy. There's a whole army of them out there saying all kinds of shit about me. Oh, well, you know, people who actually just feed into the gossip. Oh, well, you know, what can you do? There's nothing I can do. And so I don't really care. Is it irritating? Yeah. It's irritating. But what can you do, you know? Really, what I'm realizing today is that I didn't want to get on here because I don't want to talk about these fucking devil lovers, child killers. With it being springtime, I'm just really focused on having to do stuff, and I don't want to be focused 100% on that. And now there's a new Pootie Twang account, has no views. I guess that they're trying to say that the new account is the old account that was Daniel Dowd's that was posting pictures of Harlan when Owen died. But it's not. It's a new account. It's not even the same account. But I guess they figured their games are going to work. You know, that's, I guess, how it works. They've stopped emailing me constantly. I guess now, since they've stopped emailing me, that means that they didn't do it for a year and a half before, even though I have it all documented. You know, that's how it changes. If they're not doing it now, then it never happened in the past, I guess. And it's like, again, Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Satanic Temple is in Iowa. They just did that Baphomet statue a year ago last Christmas that someone came up from Missouri and cut its head off and stuff like that. They're obviously in Iowa, you know? And so you have all of this stuff that's going on. He has a whole history of going after survivors. He was instrumentally involved with Lori King. I believe that Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, is Johnny Dub. I also believe he's Andy Villa. And so therefore, and I wouldn't have to even question this shit if my sheriff, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, would do his job. But of course, he's too busy helping them hide that Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. And all of this shit is like out there. I mean, when you, again, it's like a broken record, but when you compare the official report for the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion to the KETV news report that was done that night that Neil Gross was on, the two stories don't even, you know. Dan, the owner, said in the video that he got out, went back in, got his brother-in-law and got them both out to safety. That was in the KETV news report. But the official report says that the place filled with gas and had an explosion, and the one explosion just leveled the place. So how did people get in and out if it leveled the place with one explosion? But people don't give a shit about the truth. They don't give a shit about the truth. They want what they want. And they'll lie to themselves however way they need to lie to themselves. And they think that they're not accountable. You know, there are people in town. I went to go pay my electricity bill, my utility bill. And one of the people that works there, just a vile woman. She likes to hurt people. She feels powerful by it. And she thinks that there's no accountability for her being an evil person. And doesn't realize that accountability is right around the corner. And your lies and denials doesn't convince heaven of shit. You know? None of it convinces heaven. Heaven's not duped. You know? And there will be accountability. But you can't tell people who don't want accountability that there's going to be accountability. They won't listen to it. So, fuck it. You know? What can you do? Can't do anything, really. And, but all of this information is out there. And what's come of it? Nothing. Not a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. And so, but that gas station explosion, they put a bomb in that gas station. It is insurance fraud. It's fraud. They lied about that gas station explosion. And, you know, it was domestic terrorism. If anybody else would have blown up a goddamn gas station and fucked up an entire town, that would have been considered a domestic terrorism. And who was threatening me at the time? Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. I had just gotten out of a huge mess out of Seattle, and I was in Algona, and it was bad, you know? And so these people will protect fucking child killers, because that's what it is. Because it's not like they get these kids and then give them back. So what the fuck do you think happens to them? What, they go to Never Never Land? You know? Go live with Peter Pan? That's what you think? You know? And I'm not, there's some people in here, I'm not aiming this at everybody. But some of you are fucking dumbasses. You know? Some of you are very bright, and you're just as frustrated as I am, because what do? You know? What possibly can be done? It all is dependent on God. God is the only way that any of this is going to change. What I'm afraid of with the coronal mass that's happening on the sun is that our sun is getting ready to do exactly what Betelgeuse did in 2019. That's what I'm afraid of. Because what causes the coronal mass is that it's colder in that coronal mass than the rest of the sun. I know it's science, and science is not as valid as opinion, especially uneducated opinions. But science is science. And so, and they're on top of me, just like they were Virginia Gouffre, just like they were Isaac Cappy, just like they were Lori King, just like they were Max Spears. You know, I'm not the first. I probably won't be the last. And it's just the MO of the whole situation. But with that said, I think I'm going to get off here. I really don't have a lot. There's only 10 people in here. The conversation is kind of, I appreciate what you guys have done, but I just have shit I have to get done. And I have to get some bags. Otherwise, I'm not going to be eating this month. Anybody who wants to donate, I am definitely would be very appreciative. PayPal and Venmo is just D Shurter. So it's just my first initial and my last name. I have books for sale, $30. The bags that I'm making, they're going to be about between $200 and $300, only because, first of all, the material, but the second thing is that they take a lot of time. It's going to take me, I'll be lucky if I get one done a week. If I push myself really hard, maybe I can almost get two done. That's how long it takes, And so it's not anything I'm going to get rich on, but if I can just, do something. And that's the reason why I spent the money that I did at Joann's yesterday. Because I wasn't going to get the stuff any cheaper, first of all, and second of all, I'm just afraid of, The thing about it is that they're talking about a solar minimum. I threw this shirt on just to be on here because I've been in a white t-shirt all day. But I was outside too, getting dirty. And I'm kind of an idiot. I just reached down to realize that I'm wearing my shirt inside out. But I threw this shirt on like 2 seconds before I came on here because I realized I was late, but I didn't want to have a stained white t-shirt on here. So I threw this shirt on, and usually I don't hang them up inside out. I don't know why I hung it inside out. But I just reached down and realized, wait a minute, that's supposed to be on the inside. I'm wearing my shirt inside out. I'm an old dude. I really have to say that, Doug Mesner has sent me emails before bitching about my clothes. Oh, you need a new wardrobe. Who am I going to impress? Shit, when I'm here by myself, I run around in a t-shirt and boxers all day almost. Thank you. I got this shirt at Goodwill. It cost me $3. And I kind of like this shirt. And so, I didn't mean to, wear my clothes inside out. And I didn't pay any attention to it. I just grabbed it and threw it on. Came in here and sat down. And so, one of those faux pas. Oh, it's definitely clean. It's definitely clean. I'm kind of anal about laundry. I wish I was as anal about dishes, because I have a small kitchen. But, and I need some sharp scissors in the most desperate way. I cut today, and my thumb is just now getting feeling again because my scissors suck. I need to go take them someplace and have them sharpened, but then again, where do you do that? I think, from what I understand, there's some dude who shows up in town once a year, but I need a new pair of scissors. They had scissors, but they were a brand I didn't recognize, and I'm gonna go. I found a pair of this Tula pink. They're like metallic pink scissors, and I've used them before. Someone has a pair. They're really super sharp. They're really nice. And I found some on eBay for $17 for free shipping. And that's cheaper than even all of the scissors that were on sale at Joann. Oh, that's a good idea. I should ask the hairdressers, because I go to get my hair cut all the time. But I will go ask. I'll stop in someplace. That's a really good idea, Sarah. Thank you. That's a really good idea. I never even thought about that. See if I can't get, because I have a pair of scissors. They're so dull. And so it takes me forever to cut stuff out. And I've been cutting out jean material, and it's killing my fingers. Well, why don't I pray, and then I'm going to get off of here, because... Brilliant, Sarah, exactly. That is a brilliant idea. That's why I love to come on here, because I get ideas. You guys are smart. And, well, if I won't have a van, and I wouldn't know how to do it. I just need to work on bags, especially now. Because I only had like $100 for food this month. I make $900 and my bills almost suck all of it up. And so, needless to say, I'm stressed out about finances, but then what is new? You know, it's very irritating that this group of child killers can just they just have untold amounts of money and can just do whatever the fuck they want. And those of us who are actually trying to fight the good fight suffer, you know, and all of us are poor. Isaac was totally poor. Lori, they decimated her finances. Fiona, they've decimated her, you know, and so it's financial sabotage and slander, and that's exactly what I'm going through. They're screwing me so hard financially. That's the reason why the MUD lady, how are my bills in my tiny house, $375, but the family that lives right next to me, their bills are around $200. So how are mine $375, but theirs are $200? You know, and slander. They're just saying all kinds of shit about me. And if people listen to it and believe it, who cares? Because what are those people actually going to do anyway? If they believe that I'm a 7-headed hydra that eats a small goat in one bite, what difference does it make? You know, it's not like they're going to do anything. And so who cares what they believe? Let them believe whatever the fuck they want to believe. They're going to believe it anyway. And so Fiona has great humor. I'm going to pray. Heaven, we come to you. We are in rough days right now, and I think it's going to get worse. And a lot of us have serious anxiety. I'm definitely fighting anxiety. Causes headaches and body aches, and you don't sleep well, and all of that. And I know that as followers of the word, we are told not to fear and to stand strong, but sometimes that's easier said than done. And we all need each other to actually stay strong in all of this. And so I just ask that you give all of us, you just surround us with grace and remind us that no matter what, you're with us. And no matter what happens, everything is providence. And that it's not that we're gods, and it's not aliens from outer space. They want to do everything they can to distract from your glory. And there are a group of us that won't have it. Just won't have it. I don't want to hear about all of the weird shit. Because they'll talk about the weird shit, but then when you actually talk about faith and the word and all of that, they poo-poo that. And so, but I don't know. Just help us keep the faith and live the word as much as we can. You sent your son, our brother Jesus Christ, down to teach us that, and we're very grateful and appreciative. And we say these things in his name, Jesus Christ. Amen. So that's the prayer. I'm being beckoned anyway. My little ones are just... So, it's a short video. I'll be back on Tuesday. Hopefully I'll have more to say. It's just the... Oh, and I'm getting a phone call right now. So, I'm going to get off here because I'm going to go call that person back. First, I have to make a phone call. They know exactly who I'm talking about because it's what I do every time after this thing. But, okay. Thanks, guys. I just wanted to come on here, and this isn't nothing. Again, some of them are just, you know, can't be on fire all the time. Sometimes they're really good. But, I'm just kind of distracted right now and stressed out. Don't know how I'm going to feed myself, thinking I'm an idiot. But hopefully on Tuesday, I'll have bags that I can show people exactly what I'm talking about. And so, because I'm going to keep working on that. I need to come up with some cash because they said that my sewing machine would be ready in 7 to 10 days. Oh yeah, please like and subscribe. Thank you, Sherilyn. Like and subscribe. And so with that said, I'll bring in... I need to look into some remote work. If I can do it from home and I don't have to be out and about. Because my post-traumatic stress disorder, I can be out and about if I'm constantly moving. Otherwise, I get so stressed out. That's the reason why they target me like they do. Because they know that, in a way, it always fucks up my PTSD, and that's what their whole goal is to traumatize people. Look at what they did to Virginia Giuffre. Look at what they did to Isaac Cappy. It's the same damn thing. You know? I'll have to look in that. Techno Kid, you were actually a lot of help today. Thank you for showing up. I don't recognize you, so thank you for showing up. And being a decent participant, you know? Sometimes people show up and they're not all that great. But, you know... Okay, with that said, I'm going to get out of here. Tuesday, come on. I'll be 11 o'clock Tuesday morning. And hopefully I'll have at least one bag done so I can show everybody what I've done and kind of what I'm looking at doing. And so with that said, I'll talk to you guys later.